Hello, welcome to our series Drawing with Inkscape. In this video, I'm going to give you a basic tutorial on the basics of Inkscape. So to start, when we open up a new Inkscape document, this is what we see. And the first thing we need to learn is how to scroll. Now typically you can scroll here using the scroll bar on the right. You also can scroll by clicking on the shift key and using the mouse wheel. You can scroll left to right, or without the shift you can scroll up and down. And another way to scroll is to use the control and arrow keys. So I can scroll up, I can scroll down, I can scroll left, and I can scroll right. Another thing that's useful when working with Inkscape is zooming in and out of our drawing. As you can see, our drawing here is quite small. So if I wanted to zoom in, all I need to do is press the plus to zoom in or the minus to zoom out. Another way to zoom in and zoom out is to use the zoom tool over here on the left menu, and default of course is zoom in. If I use the shift key, then you see that the plus sign turns to minus and it zooms out. The other thing you'll notice is that underneath the command line, we also have a number of zoom tools. Now, what actually happens here is depending on what tool we're using, there'll be some related uh, subtool or related commands underneath here. So here with the select button, you see I have various different types of options that are related to select. So if I go back to zoom, you see I still have the plus and I have a minus, and then I have also ratio things. So zoom 1 to 1. Here I can do zoom 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, and here I can zoom to fit into the window, or I can zoom to fit the drawing in the window, or I can zoom to fit the page in the window. Various things here. And also here we have the one of the things that Inkscape does is it remembers what I did. So I can do a previous zoom, or I can go back and forward within my most recent actions within zooming. And the other thing is, say I accidentally build something that is so huge that I've lost where I am and I can't find anything anymore, then I can always go down here to the bottom right corner and I can zoom back and to a more reasonable size. So I can, in other words, give an exact percentage here of what I want my drawing area to be. So let's set this to where we started, which was 35%. Alright, so as I've already mentioned, over here on the left hand side are all of Inkscape's editing and drawing tools. So we'll try to go through all these in the more advanced tutorials, but we'll hit on a few of these right now. And as I said, when you change a tool, for example, here's the shape tool, then you're going to see information underneath the command line that is relevant to the tool that's being selected. Alright, as I said before, when I create a new document, Inkscape automatically opens when I start Inkscape, it automatically opens as a new document. And if I wanted to create another new document while I was already in Inkscape, I could do that by going to File, New, or Control N, and that would open up a new document. But let's say I want to open up a new document using one of Inkscape's templates. So I just click on New from Template, and I get a list here of what templates have been loaded onto my system. And one of them is business card, which is an assignment that you had in the course. So you could click on business card, And you have various settings here. A8 is the normal size for a business card in Europe. We're in the United States, so we can do 3.5 by 2 inches, which is the standard size for a business card in the United States. If I click on that and create from template, then you see I've now got a uh, business card template, and you notice that it zoomed in to 200% when it opened. The other file tools are pretty basic. If I want to open an existing document, I can click on open. If I want to save the existing document, I can click save, or I can click on save as if I haven't saved it before and want to put it in a location. We have a print function here. We have import and export, which we're going to talk about later, and then importing clip art and so on. Now, when we do a save, what you're going to notice is that Inkscape saves the file as an SVG file. An SGV document, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, is an open standard that's widely supported in graphics software and can be edited by a text editor as well as XML, and as well as, of course, Inkscape. And also, if we want, we can export document as a PNG image. All right, let's just quickly go through some of the tools. Here's the shape tool. So if I click on that, I can draw a shape just like you would expect. And with the next tool, 3D, we can create 3D boxes. With the circle tool, we can create circle and oval shapes. Let's make some space here. With the star tool, we can create stars. With the spiral tool, we can create different kinds of spirals. And then with the drawing tool, we can create freeform shapes. And with the Bezier curve tool, we can create shapes such as this. The most common tool that you're going to use is the select tool. So if you select on the tool, you'll notice that if I click on this object, you'll see 8 arrows here. And you can use these arrows to move an object in various dimensions as you would expect, just by dragging the arrow. And you can also scale the object by dragging any handle. Sorry, I said that wrong. You can move the object by just clicking in the object and moving it, and the arrows, of course, are used for scaling. Now, if I click on the object again, then you notice that the arrows change. And these are used for me to do rotation of the object. And as you can see, I have different kinds of rotation. Some changes the shape, some just literally rotates. So the corner objects or corner handles rotate, and the ones in the middle will cause a shape change. Now, if I want to click on more than one object at the same time, just as you're probably familiar with in Microsoft, you click on the object and click Shift, and you can click on the second object or as many objects as you wish to click on. Now that I've clicked on all 3 objects, I can move them around as a group. So that's one of the reasons that you might want to click on multiple objects. Multiple object clicking is also useful if you want to create a group. So you click the 2 objects you want to group, for example, and then you hit Control G, and now you have one group. If you want to ungroup those objects, then you hit, while they're selected, you hit Control U, and now they become 2 separate objects again. A neat feature in Inkscape is that if I have a group, I don't need to ungroup the objects in order to edit one of the objects. Instead, what I can do is do control click, and now even though these two objects are still grouped, I still can edit the one object, and then when I unclick, you see there's still a group. The easiest way to give an object color is to click on the object and then click from the colors down below. So let's just pick a color here, and because you see these objects are grouped, the color applies to both objects. Another powerful way to work with color is to go to Object and open up the Fill and Stroke menu. When you open up the Fill and Stroke menu, you see that there are three tabs here: Fill, Stroke Paint, and Stroke Style. The Fill button allows you to edit the fill color, so we can play with different color styles. We can use the numbers here so we can get to a specific color, as we've talked about in the course when we talk about color. We can also just use the color wheel here to select the colors that work for us best. The stroke paint can be used to remove the stroke outline of an object. So you see here we have an outline, and we can change variously there. There's so much more we can do with this particular tool with object and color, but we'll go over that in more detail in a more advanced lecture. And then finally, one of the things that we need to talk about is duplicating an object, which we can do just by clicking on the object and then clicking Control D, and it will reproduce a copy of that object, and then we can drag it away from its original location. We also can use the Align and Distribute option, which is Shift Control A. So let's start by getting rid of an object here, and let's insert a row of boxes here like this, or no, better yet, let's delete these and make this more square, and let's use the Control D option. Sorry, get a line there because I didn't go back to select. Alright, so we select Control D, Control D, let's do one more, Control D, and now if I do the Shift Control A, I can then, no, first I have to select them all, so I select all four, then I do Shift Control A, and I can then align these objects. And you can see over here on the right a wide variety of options that I can do with these. So let's just click one so that you see what happens, or something that makes more sense here. So you can see how all these different objects aligned and so on. Alright, as I said, this has got a lot of power as well. Alright, that's it for the basics. There's obviously so much more I could cover, but the video is getting long, and so let's just get into the more detailed lectures. We'll look at each of these features in more specifically.